Hey guys, welcome back to the
Jazzy
and Sanya
Full Circle
Podcast
Podcast Show, baby!
Yeah. All right, guys, we're back on the second episode. Like we said on the first intro that we highlighted, the second episode. This is going to be more about Jasmine Orwig's childhood, her trauma, her healing, her overcoming so many obstacles, guys. And so she's going to indulge in her why. Okay, so Jazzy, let's start with where are you from? Where were you born?
Born and raised in Texas. And what's funny is I've lived here my whole life and I hate the heat. I can't get used to the heat, let me tell you. So born and raised in Texas. My full name's Jasmine Whitney Orwig. I'm actually going to be turning 30 soon. Oh my gosh, I'm getting old, y'all. I'm getting old. So I grew up in a big family. I have 4 older brothers, 3 sisters, and me and my twin sister are the youngest of the 8.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh. I got one 3-year-old son who I adore and love. And till this day, I don't even know how my mom did it. I don't know how they raised all these kids, let alone me, my twin, being the youngest. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I drive myself crazy. I don't even know how they did it. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I was born and raised.
Okay, all right, cool. So, tell us what was your upbringing like? You know, with your parents and
like the dynamic of
how did your journey to like health and fitness and nutrition?
Okay. So growing up in a household of 8, despite there being a lot of kids, it was really hard financially for us to live the healthiest lifestyle. But my parents always found a way. And I'm very grateful and humbled till this day. We always got provided help from like the storehouse, from church, that sort of thing. I know a lot of people can resonate and like understand that you just get help when you can and from whoever you can. So even that being said, my parents always taught us to be healthy in any way, shape, or form, despite what we're given. And they would teach us the ingredients and how to like grow your own stuff. I remember even being just like a little girl and being so intrigued because they made it seem like it was so intriguing to know about health and fitness and the food that we were eating, that I wanted to like make my own little garden. I remember making my own garden, growing my own watermelon, strawberries. I remember feeling like so proud of myself when I would grow my own stuff. Yeah, I could eat it. We had our own chickens. We didn't like grow up in a farm, but I grew up in South Irving and we had a pretty big yard. So like my mom, man, she would like make ponds everywhere. We had geese, we had chicken, and would get eggs. And I remember hiding the eggs, and we would like cater to all our animals, dogs, geese. We had snakes, we had bunny rabbits. I'm like, it's to this day, I'm like tripped out that I even had the privilege to grow up and be exposed to like those animals and how to like grow your own stuff and eat from the animals that you have. To this day, I'm like, man, one day I'm going to have my own farm and my own house. I'm going to build my own crops and have my own animals and the whole 9. But essentially, like the health kick I didn't really start appreciating it, the value of it, until I got older. When you're a kid, you're like, I don't care about all those freaking vegetables that you're putting in my spaghetti. My dad would be like, any vegetable that we have in the kitchen, it's getting chopped up and it's getting thrown in that spaghetti. And I remember all those kids would be like, man, like picking out the freaking tomatoes. Like, could you just not? Like, we don't need onions and bell peppers, mushrooms. Who puts mushrooms in spaghetti? So my whole point is, as an adult, I do all that and some. Like, I love vegetables. I love being healthy. I love eating. And I'm a little crazy about it now because back in the day I didn't do that. But now I'm like looking at ingredients on labels and I'm like, who would have thought? Years later I would be, actually understanding the concept that my parents tried to instill in all of us kids. So, yeah, I mean, I could really go ham and go crazy with that question. I can go crazy, but I do know that my parents provided the information that we needed so that when we got older, they would cross their fingers and hope that we would actually listen to some of the stuff that they did. Some of us didn't, and some of us listened, but didn't actually use the information that they gave us. But I for sure am one of them. Me and my dad till this day will stay up and I'll have like a whole conversation with him just about food and healthy stuff. Or like, my dad could go to the Sprouts or Whole Foods, and I'm like, how do you spend 2 hours there? I literally don't get it, but I do get it now because he's passionate about the whole health and wellness side of it. So yeah.
So basically, your parents laid the foundation of being resourceful. Being
Oh,
8
absolutely.
of y'all.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
actually, technically 10, right?
Oh, absolutely. And my grandma, let me not leave her out. My grandmother too.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out to my grandmother.
Yeah, tell us more about your grandmother.
So my grandmother, she's I think 83 now. Shout out to her. She's like, I hope I'm in her health. She's 83 years old, and I don't know why she's doing half the things that she's doing. Grandma, if you're watching this, cut it out. We need you here to 100 years old at least. But she'll get her wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
She's out here putting freaking chopped wood in her wheelbarrow and like making a whole pile in the back corner of her house. And I'm like, wow, like I'm just sorry, but I'm just impressed. Like she's got like 6 dogs that probably could all take her down. Literally. She just stays busy.
Yeah.
She's very, very proactive. She does a lot of natural stuff. I remember I actually used to like our whole family. I'll make this short because I could go in about her too. But everybody in our family, if my grandmother said a health tip, we'd all kind of look at each other like, oh, here goes grandma. I love grandma. It's like, but I get it now. Like it can be annoying for someone who doesn't like appreciate that stuff. It's like annoying. It's like someone being overweight and someone always reminding you that you're overweight. Like it's annoying. Like I get it. But at the same time, like if you listen to the information and utilize it, powerful.
All right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember you told me your grandma was always at the YMCA.
Oh,
I mean, it was just
swimming.
Like,
oh my goodness.
Always doing something.
Oh, she stays busy. I'm not kidding you.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to be like that. Like I look up to that because it only comes from her health and how she takes care of her health. It's it. Like there's people her age that I know, and she will talk to me about it. How she's like, man, like there's so many people my age. They're like in wheelbarrows, and I'm like, what do you mean wheelbarrows? She's like, what are those things? Wheelchair? Yeah, the things that they pull. He's so cute.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. But she's like, regardless, they're getting pulled, and they can't even walk. She's like, Jasmine, I can walk, and I don't even need a cane. I say, what? You don't need a cane, and you're 83? Like, you need to put me on whatever you're taking. I need it in my life. So yeah, I mean, from like healthy drinks, from healthy food, from things you add to your food, from like growing your own, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
So basically it starts from like the top, like your great grandparents and your grandparents,
right.
down to your parents. Mm-hmm. It's the influences, right? Positive influence, whether positive or negative.
Exactly.
You're going to take that, right?
Oh yeah.
So more about your mother. Your mother was more organic too, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
So again, she got it from my grandmother, like all of us. I'm not knocking you, Mom, but she's even had her moments where she's like, because long story short, my grandmother would like make healthy foods that maybe the average person wouldn't eat, but it's like literally medicine. That's a good way to put it. Like it's food, but it's like medicine. It's extremely healing for your body. So I remember her being like, oh, she brought me another to-go container because she would like make her own stuff. So even my mom being really healthy, she still had her moments where she's like, I don't want to eat that crap. And I'm like, what is it? And so, you know what I mean? It would just be like the brown rice, a vegetable, whatever the heck. And for me, I'm a saucy person. I'm a seasonal person. So like I love flavor, and it very much lacked flavor.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, if it lacks flavor, it's going to be very bland and not exciting. So yeah, the whole goal in life is just to make healthy foods taste good, and then it's a win-win. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's win-win.
Exactly.
And I just love how your family just come together and they all pitched in, right? Mm-hmm. So, and your father, chiropractor, correct?
He was a chiropractor for years, which was very, it was very beneficial. With 8 kids, like, we all had to get our papers signed for sports.
Yes.
Like the whole team would come over, and he would do the whole 9 with all of them. And I was like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, but and then like it's a win-win.
Where's your father when I needed him?
There'd be times I'd be like, oh, my feet hurt.
Yeah.
And he's on the couch. He's like, give me your foot. Like it just was like second nature. Yeah. Like he would be massaging. Even my oldest brother. Like it's not just a female. My dad would be right there massaging all his kids. That's why I just applaud him. Yeah. He would work all day, crazy hours, 2 jobs, come home, sit on the couch, and he's like, all right, who wants a massage? What? Like, you're built different. months. Like, man, and granted, we all know when we're tired, he would fall asleep. He'd be massaging and he'd be like, you know what it's like?
Right.
We'll talk about him in the next episode because he's a masseuse. So
massage therapist.
So massage therapist, exactly. So he gets it.
Yeah, I get it. So, yeah. So going back from your upbringing, so what is things that you recognize? What is your parents' ethos like? What is the motto that they really hold the foundation?
That no matter what we're facing, no matter no matter where we live, you can make any place a home by just having each other. We could literally live under a freaking bridge and we're content because we make it that way.
Right.
And so I learned to not be materialistic. There's 8 of us. Like I remember all my friends being able to like go to the movies, go to dinner, like your typical things. Like we didn't do those things. It was
a luxury.
It was a luxury for us. It was a luxury for other people. It's just like a normal lifestyle. So I had to, I didn't think our life was weird or different until I was exposed to other people's lives that were different. Yes, but I always was so grateful for, like the things that we had to go through, even if it wasn't like someone else's journey. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So were you pretty active? Was there any sports?
Like physically? Active is an understatement because listen, not only were we active in general because we didn't get to go do much. It's like, don't tell mom and dad you're bored because they will literally give you a chore to do or they'll make you active. They'll make you active. But aside from that, we all played sports. So me and my twin were the youngest. So mind you, literally we watched all our siblings play sports. And naturally, you gravitate to that, right? So I'm like, oh, I want to do that too, blah, 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 blah. So I played everything. Soccer, volleyball, track, basketball. I mean, and I was pretty good.
Okay.
I was pretty good,
Okay.
Very competitive, but I'm not going to lie. Growing up in school, I was pretty bad.
Okay.
People wouldn't know that about me. But
were you still active in sports? Or did you have to take a break?
So the reason why I even mentioned me being bad in school is because sports is what kept me grounded. And I was like, man, if I skipped school too many times, which I did at times, I'm not gonna lie, but if I skipped school too much or if I'm not passing my grades, it put things in perspective. I'm not gonna be able to play sports and I gotta go play this game next week. So it helped. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that because who likes school? The average person doesn't like going to school. You have to find something that keeps you wanting to go. And that's what that was for me, sports. So, played it all through school. All my siblings, even outside of school, I played select soccer, killed it, was really, really good at that. And then,
So basically, tell me your top, discipline. You learned from, soccer. You said volleyball. What was the third one?
One of the biggest discipline is focus on one thing. If you really want to indulge in one thing, for me, it was hard to discipline that because I wanted to do it all. What? You want me to, I'm a girl, you want to go play football? I have 4 brothers. You want to go play some football? Let's go bet. Count me in. I'm there. And I was one of the guys, believe it or not. So it's sometimes my dad would teach me hey, what do you really want to focus on? What is that one? And it was always soccer. And how did I know that other sports were getting in the way is because when I played volleyball, I jammed my finger one time and it hurt so bad. The air touching it hurt. I don't know if y'all know what that feels like, but that hurts. And then I remember not being able to play one of my soccer games because of a finger. Who would think that a finger would keep me from running and kicking a ball? But it was so bad. It was swollen. It was awful. I couldn't even walk because the pressure,
Right.
Anyways. So I just learned, focus on one thing, and it was always soccer is what was my main sport. So
basically just concentrating on that one process.
100%.
Otherwise you'll be distracted with so many going on because you're trying to learn how to balance and control all of that at once, and it becomes chaotic for most people. So
or taxing on your body.
Overall. So other than that, what was there any hobbies? Was Jazzy's hobbies other than sports? Was it art or was it
and I get it from my mom. I get it from my mom. I'm just saying because she had a studio. So we didn't have a 2-story house. It was 1 story, but we had stairs in the back that went down into a studio room, right? Yeah. So that was her art room. She would do pottery. she would teach me how to do pottery, like the clay and like, you know what I'm talking about, like where it's like
Yes.
spinning on the thing and like, oh, I'm making a dinosaur, and it's really not. But you know, when you're a kid, you know, the sky's the limit. You have an open mind, and so she taught us to always have an open mind. And my dad was very creative too. I'm not knocking him, but he was always busy, work,
Oh,
work, work, work,
wow.
work, busy, busy, busy. My mom would stay at home with all of us. So crafts is how she kept us entertained. So we would have like scrapbooks, and we could cut out cool stuff and make pictures and design stuff or paint, or just get in there like. And let me kind of jump to the point of where I adventured off by myself. Like I didn't need mommy and daddy and everybody to be like, hey, you want to, when mommy was gone, daddy was gone, I was at home by myself. I would get so freaking bored. I would go to the studio. I would get like pieces of wood that were like in cool shapes, and I would just design, paint, whatever. And I would like nail it onto the bathroom wall. I wouldn't even tell nobody. I wouldn't even say anybody to my family. I wouldn't say anything. I'm like, I'm just going to see if anybody notices. And of course they did. And of course they loved it. And I'd be like on a high of like, yeah, I did that. And it became like decorations in our house, which is really cool.
And the sense of accomplishment too.
Totally.
Yeah. Like, Mom and Dad, I did this. Look.
Exactly.
You get all excited when you're a kid.
Yeah. And it was a healthy way to put my mind into something that's, you know, going to keep my...
It's a positive recourse.
Absolutely.
It's that outlet. Not only that, you had sports, which you got to burn all that energy. And I'll talk about that another time.
Right.
So it's also essential for kids to have outlet, positive outlet.
Oh yeah.
And I learned that when you add those two combination, kids start to do the right thing.
Right.
You know, and when they don't have those two, you know, factors.
Exactly.
It just everything goes south.
Exactly. I just remember
things become chaotic, and you're saying getting into trouble, right?
Yeah. So let me put one. It's kind of funny. It's a funny story. So like, I have 4 brothers, and all you guys who are watching this who love video games, we didn't have. It would be like the Nintendo, and it would literally be like, "I'm next." No, bro, you already went. Like, I'm next, and it'd be like a whole freaking scene, and I'm like. And I'm a woman, or I was a little girl, okay? Yeah. Like, I can't even try. At that point, what am I going to do? I'm not going to wait in line. I got to compete with 4 older brothers and probably other, you know what I'm saying? And then I got that 3 sisters. So the video game was like very rare when I would come home, like, I get to get on a video game, what? Like, and it was just funny because nowadays, like, everybody, like a kid, like they're glued to their tablets. They're glued to a game. I'm like, you don't even see that many kids go outside and play anymore. Yeah. I don't even know if you did this, but like, and we would go outside, and you know the help me out, the wires. It's like in the top of my, like the street lights. Okay, and all the cords and stuff that would be like hanging down when they're kind of messing up, you know, in the streets. We would play football and play games with that as like neighbors would like come together, our neighbors, and like we would get on.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So we would like have this like whole like posse of people, just like different families just gathering and playing like so many sports, like Foursquare basketball game. And I'm like, man, you just don't see that anymore. Like,
oh, right.
And I'm like, I don't know if it's because I'm older and like my eyes are more open, or if things have just changed a lot since I was younger.
Really bringing the, you're bringing back like the 90s, 80s. I remember that. You know, back in the days, you would just go out and play. Oh my goodness. And your parents would actually just let you go out there. Oh, exactly. And you'll fall, you'll get hurt, you'll cry, and then you just get back up.
Oh, my parents would be like, what? You're bored? What? And we're like, no, what? We're not bored. And I would literally run in the backyard and like legit build a tree house. Yeah. Like just little things like that. I'm just giving you an example. Like, I would just go and like get, keep myself busy or whatnot because.
Yeah. And talking about resourceful, right? You would make up games. And all types of games. I remember that.
We had to because we didn't have money. We couldn't go and do stuff. So, but what's funny is even though we were not as well off as some other people, we had way more fun because we had each other. Right. People would be like, man, y'all are always doing this and doing, like, people were jealous of our lifestyle and like they just had no clue we were like so broke and like struggling.
You make the best of it. 100%. That's the beauty of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. You're really bringing the nostalgia. So I love that. So, was there any moment in school? Have you ever been bullied? Or were you the bully?
Oh, man.
Sorry to call you out.
Okay, I was it's one quick story, but like I caught myself later on. I was a bully, but I was a bully in like elementary. I know that sounds really funny. It doesn't make sense. But I think it was like what, 5th grade, because then you go to middle school, it's like 6th grade, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm like, it's been too long. And I just remember, like, long story short, this girl, I could tell she was very shy. And if I know that I'm not shy, I could step over someone who's shy. That's not cool, by the way. And I just remember like knocking her off. Like it was a music, like I would literally shove her off of like these little stairs that we were all sitting on. And anyways, I just bullied the crap out of her. I would talk nonsense to her. I would knock her off. And I don't know why I did that. I didn't. It was like a I felt like I had power. Like, oh, I got power over you. Not cool. And I was so young. I still remember that because till this day, if I could find her and know who it was, I would apologize to her because I'm not even that person to the core. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward, I'm in high school. Okay. I'm very outgoing. Everybody knows me. I had my share of guys that I would date and girls would get jealous, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? So girls would always come at me with like problems and drama. Okay. Sorry. It's just the truth. And I just was very much like, I'll defend myself. I didn't have patience. So yeah, I got in fights. I was not, and I'm not proud of it. So I'm like, no, there's nothing cool about that because violence is never the answer at all. It's actually a very weak way to handle a situation. That being said, like, it's just funny. The girl that I end up getting like in a fight with, in the cafeteria, like legit fist fight. We got in trouble. Years go by. We ended up being really cool. She's like, you're really cool.
Whoa.
Like, she's like, I thought you were a stuck up bleep. Sorry, I thought you were stuck. And I said, really? Tell me more.
Yeah.
And she's like, we thought you were rich and snobby. And I'm like, I love that because I'm so the opposite. Like, where are y'all getting this from? Because I'm like legit the opposite of that. It's just, I would hear, it wasn't just from her, man. I would hear all the time. People were like, I thought you were stuck up, blah, blah, blah. And like, you're really outgoing. You're really cool. You're really down to earth. Like, I'm like, exactly. Get to know me, honey. Get to know me because I'm not anything like you think I am.
It goes to show that, a lot of times we make assumptions just by look or how you dress, how you carry yourself, and a lot of times it can be just intimidation. It can be so many things. Guys.
We were talking about how you dress. I'm glad you mentioned that because y'all, like, I would dress at Walmart. Scratch that because Walmart, I love Walmart. So that's not even anything bad to say. We would dress at that thrift store, which isn't even bad either. So, but I'm just saying, in other people's eyes, like, oh, you trifling at, because you shop at the thrift store, and really, it's like, no, we're just working with what we can. Hand-me-downs, pay less.
Of
you know what I'm saying? And what's funny is people thought I was rich. It's just really ironic because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, absolutely. But what was funny about it is like some of the people who would say that would be the type of people who'd wear like a $400 pair of Jordans. And that would be like the only thing they wore every day. You get me?
Yes.
And I would wear like a $3 shirt from the thrift store, but I would have a different shirt every day. You get the difference? Yes. I'm like, I just knew how to wear my stuff.
I'm sure they question like, how do they do that?
And I'm like,
gosh, they can afford everything.
Exactly. No, man.
There's 8 of y'all.
I'm like, y'all got some fabric and a sewing machine? I will sew up your scraps and I will make something, okay? I will make something out of nothing, okay?
So, was there any moment where you really struggled as a kid? Like you're like, man, why is this happening? Or how did you overcome it?
I think struggling, because I don't really like struggle. It would be more of like picking the wrong friends, being around the wrong influences, struggling to feel like I fit in. I was always trying to fit in, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Like every kid, right?
I was like, It wasn't really ever being me. Everyone thought I was being me to the fullest. I was very bubbly. I was very outgoing, but I never really like struggled for attention. I would make sure I got it. You get what I'm saying? But what that's probably what it was. I think maybe you can consider that a struggle. Maybe I struggled to get the type of attention I wanted. Therefore, I would force people to give it to me. Does that make sense? I wouldn't get it authentically, which is why I was a class clown, because maybe I didn't get the certain amount of attention from people in the class. So like, hey, everybody, You get me? Maybe I didn't think
I
about
never
that.
knew you were a class clown.
No.
Who knew?
Who?
Jazzy, a class clown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't want to go too crazy with that because we
All
could
right.
spend an hour talking about
Okay.
that.
All right.
But
So moving forward, um, we talked about your parents, your childhood, and so
you know what?
so
I take this back. You said, was there anything that I struggled with? Now, I want to ask you, is it
okay.
struggling with me just in like as a person or struggling from going through a traumatic situation or like going through something that was like really shifted
Yeah.
everything?
Either or. Either or.
Either or?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was in the 5th grade, my parents got a divorce. I grew up Mormon, baptized in the church. Not because I wanted to, I was forced to. Obviously, that's usually how that works. And so that's how we were raised. And so the idea of a broken family, I didn't even know what it was. Like I didn't even know what the word divorce meant. I didn't know what it was. So when we had the one thing I could say about our family and what was really nice, you mentioned the dynamic and what did y'all do to like implement certain things that kept y'all strong because it's a big family would be we always had conversations. We always had group gatherings. Like, all right, everybody, get in the living room, whether it was good or bad. That's was like our routine. Fast forward, we had a talk that none of us was expecting, and they laid out that my parents were getting separated. Me and my twin were. It was so foreign to us. It's not even funny. We didn't even budge. We literally watched everyone else go crazy. We watched our older siblings. Somebody ran out the house, freaked out. Somebody was cussing so and so out. Someone else was screaming and crying, and like the whole night. It was very, very unsettling. I remember being so little and being like me and my twin were like looking at each other. I'm like, and I looked at my dad. I'm like, Dad, what did you say that was so bad? Because I didn't hear anything that was bad. And so, anyways, my poor dad had to sit here with me and my twin, like give us like the whole rundown of what a divorce meant, and when he explained it to the greatest length, like we were just like, oh, and then it kind of set in. Then the sadness would sit in and whatnot and whatnot. But I didn't realize the impact that had on me until the actual shift of separation happened. Because we can talk about it, um, but when my dad had to leave the house, you get what I'm saying? And where's daddy? And like, then it's a broken family. We didn't understand that mommy and daddy aren't loving on each other. The whole nine. You get what I'm saying? It was very traumatic. And I didn't realize it was even bothering me because I would just go through the motions and go through my life as any normal kid would until I realized they were putting me in therapy. As a little kid, I was like, I don't need therapy. Like I had a therapist. I was so confused. Um, and fast forward, I actually remember having an eating disorder. I say that I was never actually, I never went to the doctor and they never like diagnosed me with anything, but I know for a fact something was off with me and my dad. Like he would cook me my favorite food and I would always throw it up. I remember being at school and being in the cafeteria and as I'm ready to eat, it's so weird. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who have eating disorders out there who can like seriously relate to this because it's not a joke, it's not funny. And I know that it really impacted my life. I lost a lot of weight. It was hard for me to eat food, and it absolutely had everything to do with the divorce and the separation. You don't know those things when you're little because I'm not even tapped in to my own self or my own emotions and feelings and all that jazz. Um, and then I would get made fun of because it's like I was too skinny. Everyone always convinced me I was too freaking skinny, and I'm just my poor dad would always be like, "You're amazing the way that you are." My parents would always uplift me, um, and so, anyways, that really impacted my family in my life in so many ways. Was the divorce and seeing how such a happy big family seems so la 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 so grand and ideal completely has come crashing down, and everything goes south like in every way. Um, but we always stayed close. We always Orwig teamwork united in love is something we came up with as a family, and it was something that we say till this day. And it's just to remind us that hey, like we're still a unit. Just because mommy and daddy are not together does not mean we can't live life in a happy way. We just need to adjust and adapt. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be some changes, but we're going to adapt, and we're all going to be okay. And I just learned that over the years.
Oh wow.
So
So you had a eating disorder, and
yeah,
disclaimer: we're not therapists, counselors, and I know there's like a couple types, right? And
right.
um, I want to understand. did you force yourself from eating? Like, did you have to put your
No, see, it wasn't
finger
even. It
in your
wasn't even.
throat, or did you just
No, it
stop
wasn't like.
eating?
Yeah, it wasn't like. Oh, I feel the food going down my throat.
Yeah,
It wasn't like I feel fat. Let me go make
mhm,
myself
I
skinny. It was
gotcha.
like a total mental thing for whatever weird reason. Don't even ask me why because I can't give you an answer. But like when I'm actually eating is when all these negative thoughts would cross my mind. I don't know why. My parents' divorce, fighting, traumatic stuff that I would not think about during the entire day would cross my brain when I was eating. I don't even know. I don't like I said, I've never even talked to a therapist about it. I've never even gone like I've never looked deeper into that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just
Okay.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the ones that are listening, because it sounds like it is most common now,
Oh yeah.
and you don't hear about it unless someone expresses it, or you hear it from a parent or a teacher. So, what would you suggest to help the ones that are struggling with that?
So here's the truth. Even though I'm almost 30, like I still have my moments. See, it's so crazy because some people think like you
Really?
have a magic pill or hey, go do this and you're Gucci. Like you're good. You're not gonna have to worry about nothing. And no, it don't work like that. What it is you have to build mental strength and make your and be aware and in tune. So and what it is for me, and I could be speaking for other people who can relate, is when I'm my happiest, I'll eat whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a foodie. You know this because we love
Yes.
to go out and
Oh, we
eat.
both are.
Ooh, I'm like, what are we gonna go eat? Let's try to. I love
Yes.
it because I'm at my happiest and I just can really fully enjoy it and be in tune. Um, but like if I've ever gone through separations, relationships, traumatic situations that we can get into in here in a little bit, but that's when I realized I would have that eating problem. Like
Yeah.
going through a traumatic breakup, I lost a crap ton of weight and I was like, okay, this is my issue. It's when I'm going through hard times in life. I'm the opposite of some people. Some people eat their feelings.
Oh,
You get what I'm saying? Some people
okay.
get weight because they're like, I was so depressed and whatever. And then there's some people who are the opposite. They're stressed out. They're emotional. They can't even sit there and enjoy food. That's me. So I hear you. And I want you to know that you're not in that alone. And just know like
Exactly.
when you know you're going through that moment, check yourself, realize oh, okay, I'm not the problem. It's the issues that I'm going with that are the problem, and you're just having to deal with it. So it's just like, how do you navigate that? For me, I'll keep it short. It's like finding things like instead of eating something that's very, very heavy, I might drink a healthy smoothie. It's gonna make me feel good. It's gonna be good for me. And it was just like little small switch ups like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Instead of like indulging in the wrong food, because I will say food is power. That what you're putting in your body can actually contribute to your thoughts, to your emotions,
Yes.
to what you're
Yes.
feeling. And I learned that through the years. So, and I know that because I've made such a switch up in my journey health wise. I know now if I go eat like bad. I'm not saying treat myself because there's a difference. I'm saying really indulge in a unhealthy lifestyle consistently. I'm going to literally physically feel the difference. My body's going to shut down in many different ways. I'm going to feel different. My attitude might even change through some of the traumatic stuff that I've gone through in my life. Like I would when I finally lived alone in my own apartment for the first time, I would go and get groceries and come home and I'd had all the intentions in the world to cook for myself. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have a whole moment. I'm gonna have a day with myself. Yes.
Mhm.
I'll sit there and be like, I lost my appetite. And bag all my stuff up and be like, all right, I'll go to a family member's. I'm like, all right, who wants to eat? Because I'm about to cook. It was the fact of like, and that's another thing. Me eating with someone helped me eat.
Oh, really?
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Actually follow, I don't know her name or I would shout her out right now, but there was
Yeah.
somebody I follow on social media who that's what helped her on her eating journey was because she struggled to eat. So when she ate on camera, she became like big on TikTok because she would eat and the audience would keep her accountable. They're like, oh my
Oh,
God, whatever you make tomorrow,
accountability.
accountability, whatever you're making tomorrow, please come on here live and eat it with us. So she'd be having conversation with people and she'd be eating and it'd be a happy
I love
moment.
that.
You see what I'm saying? Creating that happy experience. Don't eat like I have to eat. Oh my God, I gotta.
Mhm.
When you're overthinking, you're not gonna eat. It's not healthy to do that. And I also learned it's okay to fast,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to be like, oh, if I don't eat, something's really wrong with me. We can get into that later, but
Okay.
like I
Of
learned,
course.
fasting is actually really healthy for your body.
It's
So,
really healthy. It's a huge trend.
mhm.
and I done it last year and lost a significant amount of weight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing when it
Mm-hmm.
does transformation,
Yeah, it's not even just
energy.
losing weight. Like intermittent fasting, you can do that as a normal
Mm,
routine. Like don't eat past a
yeah,
certain time at night so your body can digest the food properly. So you can sleep better. You can have a
it's the
clearer mind
energy.
when you wake up.
Mm,
I'm telling you, if you go eat Whataburger at 2 a.m. because you had the munchies or whatever the heck, you just got
just
drunk and hanging out.
cravings.
And we all
Yes.
have our moments. I'm not knocking that because even I have. You're gonna literally have like really bad dreams. You're gonna sleep like crap, or you're gonna wake up sluggish and you're gonna feel, or you're gonna wake up and
Performance.
be like, or it's gonna just come out of your whole body, if you know what I mean. You're gonna be like, hey, give me an hour, I'm gonna be in the restroom, if you know what I mean. So I'm just saying, whatever comes in comes out, okay?
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes. So Jazzy. So what was your first career, or what was your first job? Starting
ooh.
off, yeah.
First job, worked at CC's.
Cece's? No way.
CC's
Cece's Pizza?
Pizza. Oh
The
yeah,
buffet?
the buffet. And
Oh.
here's what's funny. So because I grew up around like being forced to eat healthy, we did get treated, but it was a weekend. You know, that was like our thing. Hey, y'all gonna eat like this, but on the weekend, pizza party, chips. You get me? So
I remember
we
Cece's,
weren't weird.
yes.
So fast forward when I got a job, the reason why I mentioned CC's is because when I got the job there, I would eat CC's every day
Mm.
because we didn't get to eat food like that. And I felt the
Yes.
difference. Oh, not in a good way. After so long, I was like, I feel like a damn pizza. I'm just saying, I feel like those breadsticks over there. My face is greasy like that grease on that pizza, baby. Let me tell you, I'm breaking out because of how I'm eating. And that was
Yeah.
another thing.
You already would eat, right?
You know what
Yeah.
you said? Was there something I struggled with? I take that back because my mind runs on a million. I had a really, 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 really bad acne. Like,
Oh.
got made fun of. I was known as like, oh, you're the pretty twin, but with acne. Oh, the pretty
Oh
twin with
no.
acne? That's how people refer to me. I'm like, I don't know if I take that as an insult or compliment. Dang, because you just gave me 2 in 1, you know. But I would have guys who would like make fun of me, or like you always had that one person's like, dang, you know, you're really breaking out today. And I'm like, thanks for pointing out the obvious. You get what I'm trying to say? So you always had those people that made me feel insecure. So jumping into the job, CC's, worked there. And fast forward, I just started working in the service industry. Restaurants, jumped from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant, which is where I met you
Yes.
eventually. And I worked at a warehouse. I what else? What else have I done? And then I started after doing so many job hopping from restaurant to restaurant. I had a friend tell me, "Hey, I run a cleaning business.
Oh,
Okay,
that's how it's all started.
would you be interested in doing this just until you figure out what you want to do?" Because I was at a place I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to just be a server for the rest of my life. Fast forward, she's giving me this opportunity, and I'm like, well, I don't want to scrub toilets either because that's not cute.
Yeah.
Who wants to sit there and scrub a toilet? And she was beautiful, by the way. So she was a beautiful woman, ran her own business. Fast forward, I did it as a temporary thing. I realized the benefits of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to make my own schedule. I get to manage how many clients I have a day. Fast forward, I was like, I can do this by myself because I made a
Wow.
percentage. I made a percentage. Who wants to make a percentage? Not me. I want to take it all home. So I got to the point where it became like a little side hustle. I would make my own. I would have my own clients on the weekends, and then, excuse me.
A little water break.
Mhm.
So
A little tickle in my throat. Sorry.
yeah. So
So essentially, I started doing that on the side,
on the
right?
side. Okay.
And I don't want to like completely jump ahead because that's gonna make things
Yeah.
confuse the audience. But just know, like, I eventually made this like a full-time thing. Um,
So
yeah,
let me stop you before you
yeah,
proceed.
yeah.
So your cleaning business, your friend referred you, suggested, hey, won't you try this cleaning, cleaning service? And I know for a lot of people, like either you're good at it, there's only very few, or you just you're you suck at it. So I don't know. So when you were in that cleaning business with your friend, what made you decide, hey, I want to go on my own? Like
Um,
I need to go on my own.
the
What is that?
financial benefit,
The
obviously.
financial benefit?
The freedom of like managing my own schedule and like it was like a game changer. I like
Yeah.
realized I'm like, what? Like Now I still had a boss, I still had a manager, but I still feel like I was independent compared to what I was used to, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. So yeah, essentially that's one of the main reasons why. Um, but I also like I even got my sister to work with me. I was like, come on.
Come on,
And
sis.
she wasn't her cup of tea. She's like, girl, you got this. So she did it for a while. And it's not fun, but I make it fun
There
because
we
it's
go.
something that I'm
That's what
doing.
you make of it,
So
right?
I get my headphones on, I jam
There you go.
out. I'm the one dancing. When my clients, I've had
Yes.
clients come home and they're like, "You're having your own party in my house." And I'm like, "Sorry." And so you make it what it is.
Yes.
And I guess my perspectives on it changed because I'm like, I'm choosing to literally do this. No one's forcing me.
Yeah.
Like, so, or I would listen to podcasts. That was a huge, huge, huge turning point in my journey was listening to podcasts while I'm cleaning. Time went by faster. I learned. I was listening to wise people that influenced me in every way possible, which is actually what led me to even wanting to eventually have my own podcast. So it's, a full circle moment.
Full circle moment.
Yeah.
Love that. So was there any time where you're just like, I just don't want to work,
Every day.
every day?
I think everybody thinks that.
Yeah.
But what's funny was when I would be off work for so many days, I'm like, man, I need to do something. I need to go back to work. I think a lot of people go. It's like when kids go to school and then they have 2 weeks off.
Yeah, it's a
And
holiday.
they're like, they're antsy. You're like, y'all need to go back to school because y'all don't even know how to be home for 2 weeks. Jeez, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, same
They're
concept.
just raging energy.
Oh my gosh,
So,
and that's me. I'm a busybody. I don't even know how to sit down.
yeah.
If anybody really knows me, I don't know how to stop talking. I'll indulge in like, I'll go up to my family members. They still crack jokes. I'm like, hey, okay. Long story short, they're like, oh, where's the popcorn? Because we know when she says long story short, it's actually a long story. So they crack jokes to this day. So,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, it's just siblings, having fun. So, so Jasmine, so tell us more about your mother.
Okay. So my mother, I lived with her. So part of my work experience was not always having everything that I needed, but I always had my family to lean on, obviously. So fast forward, after I graduated high school, I eventually ended up living with her. Not right away, but I did live with her. I was in a relationship. I was like in a very long-term, serious, committed relationship. And I was living with my mom. I lived with her for about a year, and she was very much struggling, mentally, emotionally, physically. She suffered from severe migraines. Some of y'all who are watching may feel the same thing. I didn't even know what a migraine was until I was pregnant. I'm just being honest with you. So I used to think like a migraine was like a headache, and it's actually so much more than that.
It's the blood rushing to your head.
And absolutely. So my mom, I would come home from work. Say I worked on the border as one of the jobs. So I'd come home smelling like fried burritos. Okay. And who wants to sleep smelling like a fried burrito? Or you know what I'm saying? So I would come home, and I remember one significant moment being like, I really need to take a shower. And I remember her coming in so peacefully and so quietly and just like quietly begging me to not take a shower. She was just like, look, I literally could hear the water hitting the bathtub. I heard you actually turn the knob. Mind you, she's in her room. The door is shut. So how can she even hear those things? And she was explaining to me, like, no, like I can't even have my ceiling fan on because I can hear it spinning, like the room spinning. She'll like throw up. She just would get sick. She had to sit in a dark room. Like, who wants to live like that? And it just got so bad that she had to like rely on medication. And if you know from what I'm explaining to you, we were an organic, natural family. We didn't. None of us got shots. Till this day, I'm almost 30. I've never had a shot in my life. And I'm healthier than the average person that all my friends, like I'm healthier than anybody. If I have a cold, give me a week or two, not even, and I'm gonna bounce right back, right? So that being said, I just remember in that moment being like, just give me 5 minutes. I will take the quickest shower ever. I won't even wash my hair. I'm like fighting with her, right? Because there was a level of not understanding what she had been going through. You know what I mean? The actual impact it had on her.
So with migraines, you're very sensitive to sound and light.
Oh, 100%.
So you got to be in the dark. You you want to make sure everything's quiet,
Yes.
soothing, because it's really intense.
Yeah, and
If you never had a migraine, it's very intense.
It's very intense. You
one
get it.
time in college,
Yeah, exactly.
and it was the worst migraine. I was like, I thought only girls get it, and I guess I get guys.
Right. It's because you didn't know.
I didn't know any better.
You thought it was like a hormone that women probably go through because we have like
I
periods.
didn't know any better. Yeah, I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And it's really painful. I remember being in the dark, everything quiet. Told my roomie, "Hey, please keep it down."
So you get it.
I get it.
Yeah, and so I just remember fighting with her, not physically, just being like, okay, like fine. Like I was highly annoyed, disregarded how she felt. I was young, I was immature. Okay, very much. I had a lot to learn, but my poor mom had to deal with that. So, anyways, that was like a glimpse of her and her health. Like she wouldn't even attend like her grandson's curricular activities, like a football game. We would all be like excited to go. We would have a family event. She stopped going to those, and we just thought, yeah, like she has other things she'd rather do. She's prioritizing her time. Me and my sister would like roll our eyes and be like, oh, there goes mom not showing up to our game. You get me? But really it wasn't an excuse. She just said, hey, I have a really bad migraine. And we're like, oh, good one. Another migraine. I'm going to start using that too as an excuse. Like the level, that I didn't understand. And so fast forward, I finally moved out. I finally moved out of her apartment. We had some disagreements, some altercations, exchange of words. I was not very happy with her in a lot of ways, but I didn't have no reason to. I was just immature. I wasn't in the best place in life to understand a lot.
A typical parent,
100%. And I went to go live with my boyfriend at the time, and I was very sick. Like very sick. Like, yeah, I remember he had to do all the moving. He moved everything into the apartment, and we lived like on a second floor or something like that. And then on top of that, my mom texted me. She's like, hey, how did the whole move go? How are you doing? I'm like, I'm sick as hell. I didn't even do anything. He did it all. She's like, I'm not really feeling the best either. Right? She's like, I can't wait to see your apartment. I can't wait to see you. Oh my God. Sorry. That just hit me. And I get a call like second night. So yeah, I told myself I was gonna cut. There's like literally Kleenex over there. I threw the box over there because I'm not okay.
You got this, Jazzy. You got this.
And the second night living there. So sorry.
No, don't apologize.
I get a call from my brother. And he's hysterical. And he's like, Mom killed herself. Mom fucking killed herself. She's dead. She's dead. She's dead. And I'm like, no. Like, what are you talking about? Mind you, I'm still sick. I'm actually sitting on a box because we didn't have chairs, like literally. And I went into shock. Like I'm crying now because I'm a Pisces. I'm very in tune. I'm very emotional. I'm very sensitive, right? I didn't even cry. I remember trying to make myself cry, like smacking myself and like telling like my boyfriend at the time, like, like, the whole, like, I remember like trying to be like, okay, I should be feeling more than what I'm feeling. Obviously that was shocked. I didn't know what that actually was until later on. So my brother got off the phone with me. My family met up with each other. That was for sure, hands down, the most traumatic thing that we've all gone through. Kids, we've all coped with it so differently. Like I don't want to name drop anybody or speak for anybody else because, that's their coping journey and what they went through. I just did things differently, and I would hide my emotions. I was trying to be strong for everyone else in my family, which is why I didn't really show emotion because I was like, that's a sign of weakness. And it's literally not. I remember just being like, my whole family took like a week off of school or work, whatever they had to be with each other and to have this like really intimate moment with each other. I worked that very next day. 14 hours. I said, work. I don't even care. I even neglected one of my dogs. Like when I say neglect, he still was treated, good. He just didn't get the attention that he deserved, is what I mean by that. Because I wasn't home. I avoided being alone. I avoided being with my own thoughts. I really didn't have extensive conversations with like even my own family members about it, because I'm like, oh, I'm not really trying to feel that emotion. I'm good. I'm gonna keep it moving. Like, you know what I mean? And that's really, really not healthy. So, and this just goes for any traumatic thing that anybody goes through. Like, if you don't tap into it and you think you're hiding it because it's going to benefit you, it's always going to resurface. Always.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what happened. So, being strong for everyone else, staying busy consistently for so long. Oh my God. Like, I catered to everybody. Like, I loved having to be a service for somebody else. And I feel the same way passionately in a different, healthy way now. Then it was just like, all my friends, what can I do for you? What do you need me? I loved if someone had to call me and say, hey, I need XYZ. I'm like, good, because that means I don't have to be alone. You get me?
Yes.
It was a really bad problem. And it was hard to cope with. It was the whole journey has been intense till this day. It's been like what, 7 years, I believe. Like the fact I'm even kind of thinking about it is because time just flies, and it feel like it was just right around the corner.
Apparently, you're going through the grieving stages, and I know there's 5 grieving stages. So there's denial, there's anger, there's bargaining, there's depression, and acceptance. And the one that stood out the most was denial. And that's just part of the grieving stages.
I never wanted to like believe it.
Yeah.
Who does? It's like, and then I had my son. I remember my son. And I'm kind of jumping around because I know we're trying to like stay in order, but it's just like you realize when someone's not there, like, dang, it would have been nice if she was here when I gave birth. Dang, it would be nice of her to be here. And you just realize, like, people, even who have their mother now in your lives, like, take that for granted because, yo, like, and it's not just your mother, it's your father, it's your child, it's your anybody who's close to you. Like we're literally not promised tomorrow
That's so true.
in so many ways. And like, I'm one of those, I'll admit, like, it takes a traumatic situation or it takes me comparing my life to someone else's to be like, oh, I really don't have it that bad. You know what I'm saying? And it should be natural for us to feel that way because we're supposed to be just humbled and appreciate everything in life, but it's just not. There's too many distractions in life.
Yeah.
And getting too wrapped up in my emotions and feelings was irrelevant to me. I didn't want to tap into that. I didn't want to see a therapist. I didn't want to talk about my problems. You know what I mean? Um, and
Yes.
till this day, I haven't even seen a therapist to talk about any traumatic things that I have faced in my life. And it's because I've had my family and I've had friends who, even like you, even to this day, mind you, it's been years, but I've just been able to vent and talk is like therapeutic. You know what I mean? You don't have to go pay
Yes.
for a therapist or a stranger. You just got to find the right people to lean on who could just help you get through that trauma because we're all going to go through it. If you
Exactly.
haven't gone through it, you're going to go through it. It's inevitable.
Mhm.
Death is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? And it's a
Yeah.
sucky thing. And one thing I'll say is it just has made me a lot of who I am today. I'm a lot like my mom. That's where I get my creativity. My mom, she was just so willing to expand her mind, and she's like me, a busybody. So she would try to do like a million different things. Like when I started my own business, I would go door to door. You would think like, oh, you're a cute little girl. Like why would you roam the streets? I was roaming the streets, baby. I was running those streets like crazy, knocking on doors, passing out flyers because I
Wow.
used to do that with my mom. Like she would used to
Oh.
give us money. That was part of like, like if y'all want some money, our family would get together, whoever was willing, and we would go door to door. So that's kind of where I learned that. I was like, I can do it. My mama did it. I got it. Mind you, I did this after she passed. So there was a lot that I would look up to her even after she passed. I'm like, go door to door. And that's where I noticed, like in general, that's where I've gotten some of my best clients because they see you're not the average person. You are a cute looking female who's sweating in my doorstep right now, drenched in your own sweat because you're working towards your goals. You want something, you're going to go get it. and they admire that.
Oh,
You know what
wow.
I'm saying? And so, fast forward, with her and like her teaching me certain things about that. I just even remember like her business. She had a business before she passed away.
That's right.
And
Organic essential oils, is
essential
that
oils,
correct?
body butter. She made
Yes.
chapstick, and it was all organic, natural products, which we love. Here's what's interesting: when I was younger, she gave me and my sister's binders. It had all the ingredients, had all the information about all these products, and social media was not what it is now.
No,
Back in
no.
the day, it's like she legit had to go like rent out a little tent,
Yes.
find a hot spot to get people attracted
You
to
gotta do
her
flyers.
flyers, the
Hand
whole
it
nine.
out. Yes.
Which I'm not knocking that. You can still be successful with that, but she wasn't able to get to where she wanted to. And we didn't support her the way that we should have. Having 8 kids, I wish I could have smacked my old self back in the day, because man, I could have helped her reach for the stars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But so after she passed, I'm just like, it just dawned on me after years. Mind you, it didn't happen right away. I started to have a natural passion for health and wellness. And I got, to the point where I was like, you know what? I want to run this business that she did. I want to revamp this and make it into my own version of what she did. And it's basically in the works. It's going to be a whole process. We all know that, because Lord knows I got a lot going on right now, but
So tell us more about your mother. And I know she was big into helping people, especially women. She's a big advocate helping women in the community that were truly
oh
struggling.
yeah.
And they were in
So
the
my
darkness,
mom
right?
was an
Yeah.
alcoholic for years. But mind you, even before she passed, like she was sober for like 23 years. So I remember being a little girl going to
Oh,
AA
wow.
with her.
Okay.
She would bring me and my twin. We would have to go in the room while she did her thing. And sometimes we'd all go as a family and she would get her chip. So we understood that she had a problem and she was like going through the motions of recovering from that. And part of her recovery was helping somebody else.
I
And
love
that's
that.
and that's really just like a life lesson, right? That we could all do. We don't have to be an alcoholic to take that into your own life. But she would go to different jail cells and or just jails and or prisons and talk to women of all ages who were like sentenced to life, who did some
Oh,
really bad stuff. My mom didn't get paid for that crap. She didn't get paid
really?
to go and talk to these women. She would go and speak. She would do that on a Tuesday. I'm just giving you an example, and go with her group, her AA group, and they would go and they would sponsor women, and they would hear their stories, and she would tell them her story, and it became like a passion of hers. She was a voice.
Mm.
She could shine the light in someone else's darkness, and
I love
I
that. I
really
love
look
that. Shine a light in
in
someone's
someone's darkness.
darkness.
It really put things in perspective for me as I got older, and I was like, I want to tap into that, because like life without purpose sucks, and we've all felt that. If you haven't, you're gonna feel it. I
Yes.
know I have, where I'm just feeling like I don't know what the heck I want to do in my life. I don't know what I want to do, where I want to go, who I want to be, what do I even like the whole nine. And so when that sparked, I was super thrilled and excited about it. And that's just one of the things under my belt that I want to do. And, so, and that, obviously it's kind of like reliving my mom's legacy, like of what things that she laid out for herself, that she was passionate about and that she loved. She would go and speak to people and be around like hundreds of people. And I would have, when I lived with her, I'd be like, how did you do that? Like literally, mom, I'd be on the bed like, didn't you just like almost crap in your pants? Didn't you just want to throw up? She's like, I absolutely almost threw up like countless times before I got on that stage to talk to hundreds of people. I just did it. And once you kind of get in there and start going through the motions, like even right now, I was probably sweating like as I sat here. And the nerves always get to me no matter what. No matter what I do, no matter what preparation I do. Once I sit right here, I get so freaking nervous. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Mm.
But as I'm talking, as I'm doing it, like I don't even realize where I'm at. I'm just like in my own world. I'm like in tune, like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And that's basically essentially what she was kind of like describing to me. So it just kind of gave me like a boost of confidence with the podcast, with my goals in life. It's like she's not here, but I feel like she's here. I feel like she's around me. I feel
She's
like I'm
with
reliving
our
her
spirit.
spirit. She's around me.
Yes.
I feel like
Mm.
I just want her to be
I
proud
love
of me.
that.
I just want her to be like,
She
man,
is. She truly is.
absolutely. And like, mind you, I really don't get emotional a lot about my mom. There's nothing wrong about having those emotions come. It legit comes in waves. I'll have full blown conversations with people, even you I've had, where I'm just really not shedding a tear.
Yeah.
And that comes with time. That doesn't mean I don't feel sadness. That doesn't mean I don't feel hurt inside. I love and miss her every day. And my emotions come in waves. So like even right now when I cry like that, I wasn't even expecting for it to hit when it hit.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you, y'all, like people are scared to show emotions. I suppressed that for so long. Even telling y'all I'm so sorry for crying, I'm really not, because I've been so sorry my whole life for showing emotions and trying to suppress it, that I'm just being me. I'm showing that it's okay to be vulnerable, feel what you're feeling in the moment, and don't suppress that for anybody, for a relationship, for a friend. I don't care who it is. If anybody's making you feel like you're doing too much, you're not doing too much. And if that's how they are making you feel, then there's probably a reason why they don't need to be in your life. And you need to tap more into that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah.
because I remember when I first met you at the restaurant, and you mentioned about you lost your mother, and I said, "Hey, I lost my father too. I'm sorry to hear that." And
Mhm.
when you lose someone, it does go in waves. It sure
Oh, it
does.
totally does.
It sticks with you for a long time, and one of the things I remember is people are like, "Oh, you'll get over it." No, no,
Oh, and that's so
that's the
frustrating.
worst thing you can
Someone's even
tell
told,
someone that.
we're not going
Yeah,
to talk about
yeah, we're
anything,
not going to
but
go
well, I'm not even
further.
going to say anything, but we
Exactly.
just know that
Yes.
we understand what we're talking about,
Hmm.
because um, you're never going to get over it.
You're
I've had
never gonna
someone
get
say like,
over that.
oh, like you're going to be strong. It's going to get easier. No, it literally doesn't get easy. You just learn how to cope with it.
Yeah.
You learn how to navigate this life without having a certain person that was so close to you in your heart. Like, and what's crazy is some people even feel like that with breakups. You might not even have someone who
Yes.
you might
Yes.
even understand that someone doesn't have to physically pass away, but you might
You go through
feel that.
yes,
You
you
might feel like,
feel it
because you're
after a
so close to
breakup.
someone, and I've actually been through that. I was in a long-term relationship with someone who, like, I had my whole heart, I was totally intertwined in that lifestyle with this person. Um and then you realize I'm young, I'm immature. You realize when you step away a little bit that you're like, that was very, very toxic in so many ways. And it just didn't bring the best version of me. And that's really ultimately what it is. You don't even need to be in a relationship with someone if they're not making you your best version or helping you or contributing in some way. And so I started to analyze that. And so that's a whole topic I don't really want to indulge in, but like just know that that relationship didn't last because it wasn't meant to last for many reasons. And then that being said, I just remember going through that, feeling like I went through another loss. Like literally, of course he didn't pass away, but I felt like, and it carried on for years and years and years and years and years. 100%. It never just went away. And I remember just feeling like I lost a part of myself. I lost weight. Remember I mentioned I lost weight. I lost a lot of who I was. I forgot who I was. I just had to go through the emotions all over again to tap back into Jazzy. Who am I? What do I like? What's my favorite color? Because I don't even know what my favorite color is. I don't even know what my favorite food is because I only ate what he liked. Do you get what I'm saying? You just learned that you just kind of like,
It's like you're trying to find
I'm
yourself
trying to find
again.
myself
Yes,
again,
you're
you
trying to find
know?
yourself again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then like fast forward, I've been in other relationships. Like I just remember feeling like I went through a journey in my life where I was just like single for like 6 years after that relationship. And I was really trying to tap into figuring out who I am, surrounding myself around people. And like my friends were the worst, like the worst influences in my life: drugs, alcohol, crazy party animals, just very, very immature, very toxic in any way that you could probably think of. Um, and that was my lifestyle. I actually catered to those type of people. It's like, what it, I forgot the term. I'm going to try to act like I know what the terminology was, but like, just know, like, when you're not in a healthy mindset and you don't even know who you are, it's easier to gravitate to people who think that they have it all together. They think that they know this, because then you're gonna like, you're gonna like kind of like gravitate to that. So I found myself doing that. I would get around people and I would be gravitating more to like them, which was in
It's the
essence,
energy.
yeah, you gravitate
Yes, you
energy thing.
gravitate to
So
the energy.
so what they would like, I would like. You get where I'm going with
Mhm.
this? What they would say, how they would talk, I would talk. That's why they really do say, and it's so true, the people who you surround yourself around is says a lot about who you are. And I started to tap into that. I don't know who I heard that from, or someone said that. And I was like, man,
Your top 5.
I was like, I know who I am. But people don't even see that or know that because they're looking at the influences that I'm around and they think I'm that. They think I'm around that and I'm not. And what I tried to do, which was a lot like my mom, I would try to fix people. I would get these people who were broken or had these traumatic ways of dealing with or coping with their life and things that they're going through, or that I found myself just trying to fix them or be there at their every beck and call, like, and then I just realized I wasn't even loving myself. That's why I didn't even know who I was, because I cared too much about what other people cared about or what they liked. It's like, and you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people do that. Like, we all have to
We all
stop ourselves in our own tracks and be like, dude, I don't even know who I am anymore. And like, so I think the biggest turning point in my life, even after my mom passed and learning who I am, was like, I got into a new relationship with somebody who was the legit complete opposite of me. They say opposites attract. I felt like it was going to complement me. I felt like I needed that for a lot of reasons. And yeah, I fell in love with this person. And in order to have that relationship succeed the way that I thought it was going to, I had to get rid of the toxic, negative people in my life that would have only prevented that from being a success. So I completely cut out everybody in my life and blocked everybody, got a new phone number, legit deleted Facebook, social media, Instagram, you name it. I didn't even have it. I think MySpace was the thing at the time. I don't even think that was accurate at that time, but I just know whatever it was, I had it. I got rid of it. People didn't even know who I was. And then I got committed into this relationship. And then I got pregnant. Was so stoked about that. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't like, it was definitely, and then, got engaged to, and was just on a high, just really ecstatic for my future. And then of course things went left, because that just obviously wasn't the healthiest relationship. We were very different. I think there was a lot of things that I brought into that relationship that lingered from my past relationships, and we don't even notice that. You might have bad habits in an old relationship, and you'll notice they're still there. It's sometimes it's a me thing. It's not always them. I take that back. It's a mutual thing, because it's definitely not just me. Trust me. Yeah. But just know that I never point a finger. It's not just, it's all you. It's like I had my moments that I contributed in all my past relationships. Just know I grew from those and learned from them, just like you all have to do the same thing. And so having my child has been the biggest blessing in my life, because it's made me tap into myself on a different level. I gained a bunch of weight, so I was like a model, and I loved fitness, and I did fitness modeling, and I was just really like big on that. I almost was thinking I can become like a fitness trainer. This is where I was at my life. Boom, get pregnant. Obviously, that's not happening. I gained a lot of weight. I got really overweight. COVID happened, so I was forced to kind of stay secluded. I lived in 4 walls, literally lived in 4 walls. And it was a beautiful thing, and then it wasn't at times. You know what I'm saying? And you learn that you can go crazy. Mind you, I've already expressed to y'all that I didn't even like to be by myself for so long. I didn't even tap into my own thoughts for an excessive amount of time. And then I was forced to. And then you go through postpartum depression, and then you go through hormone change, and then you go through body change. And it just really took a big turning point in my life. And then my mom not being able to be there for my child like impacted me, because you're already going through the emotions. And just like anybody, when you're already emotional about one thing, all of a sudden you think about everything else that's emotional. Yeah. You know what I mean? Naturally. So
so tell us the uphill. So
yeah, so like
in terms of all that, all the tragic, the loss, losing your identity and then trying to find yourself again.
I still was lost. So you think that's what I was trying to do. I try to fix everybody. And in that moment, I got in that relationship because I thought he was going to fix me. I thought he was going to, I don't know, maybe bring out a different side of me that I never knew was there. That's why I was thinking like, and it just, we just, the best way that I can explain it is like we just weren't compatible. It just didn't fit like a glove. Like we had too many differences. And then with that being said, my attitude would get the best of me because I realized how resentful I was to be in a relationship that I'm like, I probably shouldn't have jumped into, but I'm not regretful. Does that make sense? Like, it's not something I look back and I don't shame him for nothing. He's not a bad person. He just wasn't my person at the end of the day. And I wasn't his person. Did we love each other? Yes. Did we have a beautiful child? Yes. He's the brightest thing in my life, and he's made me the best version of myself. He's made me want to, and anything that I ever want to do, waking up to get through my day is because of him. Wanting to run multiple businesses and show him that I can do this on my own as a single parent, I want to show him those things. So it's kind of like a kick in, the rear end. Like it just boosts my confidence up on a different level having him. And then I don't want to discredit my growth within myself because I had to do my own inner work. Being in an unhealthy situation where I was not happy, and I lost myself, and I would trash talk myself. I would look in the mirror and be like, "You ain't nothing. What guy would want you? Look how fat you are. You're ugly. You used to be a model. You used to be a fitness. Like what? Like." And it was very, very, very unhealthy. But for me, I thought it was a healthy way to cope with my new transition. That being said, no one's going to make me happy. No one's going to make me lose weight. No one's going to make me confident. I had to stop thinking that someone's going to just hand me this way of thinking and this life that I wanted. I had to start doing that on my own. And I used to have self-limiting beliefs, or I would use excuses. So, oh, I can't afford to go to the gym. Oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I can't go to the gym. What? I started doing at-home workouts, okay? And I did it consistently. I started eating better consistently. I started recording myself. Screw the scale. I hate the scale. Just saying, because I found through my journey, I would take pictures of my body before and after, and my body was the same exact weight as when I was at one of my here's an example. I was like 154, and I was very nasty. I had like sluggish, like fat hanging over my stomach. I had like a pancake booty, but like was, you know what I'm saying? It just was not cute. Okay. And my back just was like, you get the point. Then I went through my transition, and because of my pictures, I weighed the same exact as that other picture, but my body looked completely different, like night and day difference.
Yeah.
And it was just like a beautiful moment to realize, see, like consistency will get you anywhere in life. Dedication gets you anywhere in life. And I just remember I did that. I took myself away from my family. I wasn't close to my family. I didn't have friends. I didn't have social media. I just had YouTube. I would get on YouTube and like look up videos, you know what I'm saying? And would mimic certain workout routines and just made it a lifestyle. Yeah. And I made that transition, and it's been a beautiful journey.
So basically that helped you move forward.
Absolutely.
That gave you purpose.
Oh, absolutely. And that's actually where I started my whole health kick.
Yes.
Because I already had the wisdom from my family. But like that's when I was like, oh, this hit difference. This is my purpose.
Yes.
My purpose in life is to not only learn these things, but like let me share it with other people. So I eventually, after going through a journey in that relationship, me and him parted ways. And obviously, I became a single parent, and I had a sister let me live with her. Blessings to her. My whole family's helped me through that whole journey, and it was not easy. But she's the one who let me go full blown. Like, hey, I tried doing the 5 to 9. I worked at a dental office. I worked at this job. And I hated it for a million different reasons. And I just remember being like, my life's got to shift. And she believed in me. She said, do this whole cleaning thing full time. I was like, screw it. All right. That's when I really started going door to door. And this is now a business I run for myself. I have a full clientele. I promote myself on social media because I utilize that, because why wouldn't anybody nowadays, 2024? Mm-hmm. So yes, I gained a lot of my clients from going door to door because I didn't have social media. That's why I did it. Then
that's where it all started.
That's where it all started. And then, so yeah, you work with what you got, literally. Yeah. And so then I built my clientele, and I was like, you know what? I'm loving it. Let me get social media and have a freaking purpose. Let me utilize it and which is exactly what I did. So
Okay.
my name on my social media tag is like Jazzy Health Tips. So if you look me up, it's Jazzy Health Tips. I love it. So I'll make cute videos, whether it be recipes, workout videos. It could just be like, I don't know, anything that had to do with how I'm feeling. It could be just how I'm feeling for that day, whatever, health wise. I got a YouTube channel. It was like my first social media back after having no social media for 6 years. So I got a YouTube channel and it was dedicated to everything that I just explained. And then I was like, well, screw it. Let me just go ahead and get Facebook. Let me go ahead and get Instagram and do the same thing, but with those platforms. Yeah. And then everyone loved it. They gravitated to that. And I was like, well, now that I already have social media, let me tap into it differently. And let me start like literally making cool videos with my work, because I don't know anybody that can make cleaning look so good. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, I'll clean a house and show like the before and afters and have like dope music playing, and like I might do a little dance at the end, and
Jazzy makes it look fun.
And everybody, like, women will reach out to me and be like, girl, like, put me on game. Like, are you hiring? Right. Like, or actually, like, or like, just tell me what you did to get to where you're at. And I'm like, yes, ma'am.
She made it look fun.
I'll give you all the tea. I'll give you all the tea, because I'm not gatekeeping over here, okay? Everything that I know is because someone's taught me, straight up. And so, yeah.
Jazzy, so what if the audience say, hey, I don't know how to get myself out there. What's the process?
Oh, I was so scared. It's funny because I didn't have social media for 6 years, and I was very outgoing and very much in the mix of the camera. I felt brand spanking new because, mind you, I'm a new version of me. I look different. I feel different. I have more wisdom under my belt from the things that I've gone through and learned. Yeah. So, did you say advice? What was the question?
Yeah. What advice would you give people, and what was the process like, and just how do you just get yourself out there?
You literally just do it. I was just by myself when I got this YouTube and made my first YouTube channel. If y'all go look at it, it's so funny. It's like, and when I tell you, I felt like I was in a room full of 100 people looking at me. I was sweating. I was nervous. I was shaking. I'm like, I'm legit in front of a freaking phone right now by myself. Why do I even feel this way? It's the pressure and the fear, yo. It literally like overcame my body. And all I had to do was like, screw you. I think I had like a glass of wine at the time. For me, I drink tea. Hot tea is like my go-to now. But hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever it's going to ease the nerves slightly. But really, it's just doing it. Like, do it. Watch yourself screw up. Laugh at yourself. Make fun of yourself. Not in a mean way, but you get where I'm going with that. Like, and then like, do it again. And then like, do it again. And then like, guess what?
Yeah.
Do it again. And then before you know it, you're like,
it's just repetition.
I'm kind of getting the hang of this.
It's repetition.
The screwing up isn't so bad anymore. And then you get easier. It gets easier. And then it just becomes more natural is what it is. Yeah.
Was there anyone that you follow like, oh, I like the way she's doing it, or I like the way he's doing it?
That's absolutely. So like everybody, like I used to get on social media to follow all these beautiful models. And I would always look up to these wannabe Kardashians. Like when I got social media again, I made sure that my algorithm was only going to benefit my mind. If you're not teaching me some health tip or a workout routine or whatever the heck, like I literally, get out of my face. Like, and I learned the power of that, because even when I was going through the transition of like learning about myself, I remember being, consumed of like negativity on my social media, by the way. That impacts you a lot as well. And so, that's, I just,
because when you're in the limelight, we mentioned this before, when you put yourself out there, there always going to be that one person, oh, you're not doing it right. No, it's just, how do you overcome that?
About not
negative, like feedbacks, like, like, oh, you're not cleaning it right. No, that's not.
Oh, you know what? I was about to say, I don't think I've had that experience, but actually I have. And what's funny is it's not because you're not doing it right or wrong. It's because there's something that you're doing that they're not doing. Exactly. And I learned that. So, and that's
it's not always you. It's not always you.
No, it was never me. I remember this girl tried to get on my rear end. And she tried to like throw. It was really interesting. I was like, "Oh, this is what people. Okay, come on, bring it." And I felt a sense of something at the beginning, but then I like laughed at it, and I was like, "Oh my god," because she cleaned. Mm-hmm. She cleaned for a company. She didn't clean for herself. Okay,
I got you.
And she was like, "Oh, you think you're this queen bee, like professional, but why didn't you do this in the video? Why didn't you do that? Because you think I'm gonna show you every detail of my every move? This is gonna be an hour video. Like, ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't want to share my secrets.
Like,
this is my IP.
I'm trying to give y'all breadcrumbs, okay? And
There
just
we go.
and let the video just be appealing to the eye. I just want y'all to be drawn to it. I'm not trying to bore y'all to death. So I just looked at it like, and then at the very end, when I wrote her back and gave her a piece of my mind in the most mature way, she wrote back and she's like, but by the way, you're just so beautiful.
Oh.
You're so stunning. And I'm like, okay, this just solidified everything I was just thinking. You're jealous.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a hateful way. You're just jealous. And there's something that you wish that you were doing that I'm doing. And like, I've never been the type to be jealous of women. I love women and I love to empower women, which is why I love this podcast. I love touching people's lives in any way or shape or form. It literally feeds my soul. Okay?
Yes.
So
your purpose,
my
your soul, your spirit, your mental, everything.
And like, even when I met you, like I've already talked about that on the first episode, but like game changer, obviously, because it's like, that's what I want. When I met him, I didn't have any friends. Even though we were old friends, like we knew each other, we rekindled a relationship with each other. But I told myself and him and anybody who knows me, I'm like, if you're not making me my best version, I don't want you in my life, and no hard feelings, not knocking you in your journey. But that's why my circle's so small. And shout out to my friend who did my hair. Okay, because I feel like Beyonce. I'm just saying, I literally feel like Beyonce did. I don't ever get my hair done like this. But
It's
Catrice,
amazing.
I love you. My other friend that I've grown close to in my circle is Star. She's a beautiful queen, and like literally, I'm going to watch her succeed. You mark my words, she's going to excel in life. And like, you could sit here and name drop like a list of people that you feel the same way with.
Yes.
These are the people that I've allowed in my circle for many reasons. It's because it's not you're any better than me and I'm not any better than you. We just see value in each other and we want to work off that and build a unit of people that we can succeed together and be the best versions of ourselves. And that doesn't mean a dollar sign. People think success means you're going for the bag. You're going to go get the best things. I don't even care about materialistic stuff. I don't even care about materialistic stuff. I just want to feel happy with myself and feel like I'm making other people happy. When I make other people laugh, when I make other people feel happy, I'm good. I'm literally content, like for real. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to bring the best of everyone. It's all about your energy, your vibrations. Oh, yeah. If your vibration is high, man, everyone,
and people feed off that.
People feed off of that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If it's low, it just feels like you're drowning with them. Maybe they're not doing it intentionally. It's just, and that's why it's essential to keep your support system small. Your circle. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you want to indulge in?
I feel like I could go crazy about every topic, and I could probably even think of some other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we all don't want to be here all day. And if you do, I love you. But I'm just saying, I can talk for days, and we both do all the time. Yeah. So just really, I just wanted to shine a little bit of light of who I am. So when y'all see me on social media, or you know what I mean, you see me on the podcast, it's so much more than just what you're looking at or the few things that I might be telling you. There's more about me that you wouldn't have known if it wasn't for this podcast. Like, oh, she's had her journey. Oh, she's gone through some traumatic stuff. Oh, she has mental issues, because we all do. Like, I still to this day cope with dealing with getting through my day-to-day life and dealing with emotions and like, feelings and dealing with thoughts, negative thoughts. We all go through that, literally. And so for me, just finding like a silver lining in life finding the light and realizing that, you know what I mean, through all the trauma, through all the experiences that we all go through, you can get through adversity and become the best version of yourself despite that. People think going through XYZ and going all these things is going to prevent me from getting to where I really want to. Don't let that be a thought that comes across your mind. Let that be a reason why it actually pushes you. Oh, because of this negativity, I'm going to bulldoze through that and let that be the fuel that lights my light.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And that's your purpose, correct? That's your purpose. And Jazzy, I want to say thank you for, it took a lot of courage for you to share your life story. And and you're vulnerable. You shared your family, your upbringing, your siblings, your parents, just your mother, and it takes so much courage, y'all. It's not easy. It's not easy to get yourself out there. And so, Jazzy, I hope you inspire so many people, especially the women out there, kids, um, all ages, not just girls, but guys too. So I just want to thank you again for really putting yourself out there and really detailing your life. And is there anything else that you want to?
I mean, I'm just grateful. At the end of the day, I mentioned the first podcast just to be able to like expose and share things. There's a lot of things that I was like nervous to expose or talk about, but really it's like I mentioned in the first episode, like there's so much I can actually relate to other people. Like I genuinely look forward to people reaching out to me, like, oh my gosh, this resonated with me because I've gone through this. Or, hey, I actually want to know more about this. And you can DM me, write me a personal message, reach out to me and let me know. I don't mind having these conversations with you. I just don't want to have a 3-hour conversation because I'm like talking too much about anything in particular, because Lord knows I can talk. But it was just such a pleasure. And this is what this platform is for us to utilize it, talk about things that other people actually are living out, because this is just real life and we go through real experiences. And so absolutely don't get it twisted. Even though this episode was about me and I definitely loved it and was happy to be here where I'm at to expose everything that I did and for y'all to listen and tune in. Tune in next episode 3. Okay? Because that's when we're really going to dive in and indulge about Sanya's life, because he has such a journey, an outstanding resume, beautiful story with him and his life and his parents. And y'all don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, get your popcorn, get your drinks, and just get ready because it's going to be exciting. So there's so much more to come. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And thank you so much.
So, yes, stay tuned because on the Jazzy and
Sanya's FullCircle podcast, baby! Yes! Woo!